Hi everyone and welcome to our weekly country music Instagram live series. And today we're going to be joined by the wonderful Shawn Cuddy. So we're going to get a bit of help from his daughter Amy in making this happen. So we're just going to invite her in. Of course, Shawn is celebrating his 60th birthday. There was a big weekend last weekend in Donegal, which we will hear all about as soon as we get him on. Here we go. Hi Shawn, how are you? I'm all good.
Oh, Mike, how are you?
Uh,
Eventually, I can put a
absolutely.
face
Of
to
course, yeah,
the
we've
to the
chatted
voice.
for the last couple of issues of RSVP Country, which have been fantastic. And I was just telling the people who are viewing in at the moment that you celebrated your 60th birthday and weekend. What was that like?
Well, we had an
I can,
absolutely
yeah,
wonderful week. Can you
absolutely.
see me
Perfect.
okay and all that? Yeah, because I am absolutely useless with technology. You know, I can send a text, I can make a call. But I'm very, very bad after that, Mike. But anyway, yes, it went. Hold on, so shut this door. It went really, really well. We kicked off last Thursday night at the Clanry Hotel in Letterkenny, and on the Thursday night, I had a local band called the Cufflings, and then we had Patrick Feeney, Conor O'Donnell, and myself. We had a wonderful night, and then on Friday afternoon, I did a concert myself in the ballroom just for the people that were there. And on Friday night, then we kicked off at 8 o'clock with a young fella from Donegal. His name is Malachy, and he did a bit of a DJ spot to entertain the people from about 8:30 till 9 o'clock. Then we had Curtis McGee on stage. We had after that T.R. Dallas, and then Hugo Duncan, and myself then finished the dance on the Friday night. Then on Saturday then we had our gala ball on Saturday night. What usually happens at this ball is we have a celebrity special guest.
Yeah.
I don't know who the guest is going to be. It's always a surprise for me. So on the night anyway,
Awkward.
it was Trudy Lawler and Billy Morrissey came up and joined. As you know, well, for your viewers would probably not realise, but
Yeah.
Trudy and myself are from the same
County Leash.
county. I'm
Lovely.
from County Leash, originally up Leash. So Trudy would be from a little town called Mountrath, which would be about maybe 8-9 miles from where I was born and reared at home in a place called Camross in County Leash. So I know Trudy for years and years, and since she started her career. So Trudy came up and she was our special guest on the night. And then I didn't realise, but we had a second special guest joined us then,
Awkward.
and the one and only Daniel O'Donnell. So yeah, so Daniel was there, and Trudy and myself, and we also had the singing chef. He came out and he done something like 3/4 of an hour during the coffees and that, and then Trudy got up and she did about. Oh my God, Trudy probably did about 3/4 of an hour. Then Daniel came on, he done about 3/4 of an hour. And then we all joined together on stage, Daniel, myself, and Trudy, and we went on for another couple of hours. So the event finished at a
Brilliant. It
quarter to
sounds like an
three
absolutely
in the morning.
wonderful weekend. And
Wonderful weekend. And then I was thrilled, to have Trudy there and to have Daniel there as well. It was brilliant. But myself and Daniel have been good friends for, I would say at this stage probably 35 years. I've known him, and he was a big help to me and a great inspiration as well in music, if you know what I mean. And he helped me to get my very first record deal, Mike. So which was fantastic. But we'll skip on then to Sunday. And on Sunday afternoon, then we had a little cabaret in the ballroom. We had Thomas and Fiona Maguire. And then on Sunday night, then we had our gala concert. So we had, who had we on the gala concert? Oh, yes, there was myself. We had Olivia Douglas. We had Michael English. We had David James. We had Margot O'Donnell. We also had Seamus McGee,
Oh, brilliant.
and we had Gary Gamble. And we had an absolutely brilliant. Oh, and of course, and I had Des Willoughby as well from Wexford. So we had a brilliant night. So that went on till about, I think it was about maybe 12:30. And then on Monday morning, then I headed down to the hotel and said goodbye to the coaches.
Wow,
And to
that was
next year.
jam-packed.
So, well, I tell you, Mike, I came home here on Tuesday when the last ones left at about 3 o'clock, and I am not kidding you, I was absolutely shattered until probably Wednesday. But it was a brilliant weekend, and a big word of thanks. Like we had the hotel full of our fans from Scotland, England, Wales, Shetland, Orkney, Northern Ireland, Southern Ireland, but we also had people in the Station Hotel, the Mount Errigal Hotel. So we had a wonderful weekend. And then people joined us as well, just came in on the nights and came in through the door and joined us for the celebrations. It was a great
Yeah,
weekend.
absolutely not. And
I won't
it's
forget it
very
in a hurry.
special to be celebrating 60 years of life and so many music
Is it?
positively.
Is it? Well, I tell you, people said to me, "Do you feel any different since that I'm now 60?" I don't feel a bit different. I remember so well, the coming up through the business. I have Lady Sheila Runs my association. She is originally from Donegal, but she lives in outside Glasgow in a place called Cumbernauld. Sheila Graham, and Sheila has been running the weekend for me now for 33 years. We've been doing this weekend. And I remember my first weekend for my 30th birthday, they bought me a personal registration for my van, SMC 282M. And then for my 40th birthday, they all joined together and they bought me a grandfather clock. And then for my 50th birthday, they bought me an iMac computer. And this
Wow.
year, they bought me a
That,
baby grand
right,
piano. It was absolutely funny.
yeah,
They always buy me some. They all chip in and they say to
yeah,
Sheila, "Well, we'll give." Now, I don't know anything about this, but Sheila rings me then about maybe a week or fortnight, and she'll say to me, "Well, what would you like?" I mean, I don't really want anything. I'm just happy to have people there to come along and join
yeah.
us. But they want to give you something in remembrance of the weekend. Now, whether Shawn Cuddy makes it to a 70th, that's a very different story. But listen, it's good to be still tipping away, and doing what I've done for the last. I'm nearly 35 years on the road now, Mike. So it's great to be still here. Still people looking for me to do a gig. I'm very fortunate in that I don't
Mm.
operate a band now anymore. I hire a band for my weekend, but I go around and I do special guest appearances, and I work a lot with James McGarty and Celtic Storm. I do nearly 50 concerts a year with James. We go to the UK, Scotland, Shetland, Hebrides, and I do tours with him in Ireland as well. So I'm very lucky, to still be working and still, you know,
Yeah.
doing
And,
something that
with a
I love doing.
career like that, there are highs and there are lows. Would the point for you have been
Mm.
around the time of the pandemic with the music stopping? And of course, you had health issues around then as well.
Yeah, I was. Oh God, when I think back on the pandemic, it was absolutely dreadful. You know, I think I told you this before. I was heading up from a big festival down in Southampton, an Irish festival, St. Patrick's thing. And I said to myself, is this really happening? I mean, can this, we're going to see something really, really, in our lifetime. I mean, I'm sure, Mike, you thought yourself, God, it was as bad as a world war, really. But I was lucky, I suppose, in the fact that I was sitting at home here for about maybe a couple of 3 months. And I decided, God, I'll go absolutely ape around the house. And my wife was off as well because she's a hotel manager at the time. So she was been furloughed, but I wasn't furloughed. When you're self-employed, it's a totally different thing. And I said to myself, I have to get out and get a job. So I went back into caring, and I got a job in an Alzheimer's unit in a place called Brentwood in Convoy in County Donegal, and I worked there during the pandemic, and it taught me, to appreciate the music and appreciate everything, because you know, you go in there and you see how sad it is, you know, when people take that horrible disease. You know, people say to me, how does it feel to, you know, when you're getting older? I don't mind getting older once I have the health and strength to do what I want to do. To be unwell and to be sick would be something that I just couldn't handle. You know, I think that would be very, very difficult. I mean, it means a lot, Mike, to be able to get up in the morning and brush your teeth and go for a walk, take the dogs out for a walk. I have two Labrador dogs, and my God, they're a full-time job. But you know, it's great
Absolutely.
to be
And
able to do what you
turning
want
that
to
back
do. You know?
around to more good news in that you've a family wedding to look forward to. Your son got engaged at Christmas time. Tell us about that.
That's right. Shawn has been going out with Elaine now for 8 years. Nearly time he got engaged, to be honest with you. We were wondering, was he ever going to pop the question? And we were sort of thinking here at Christmas, well, maybe he will and maybe he won't. You know, my son Shawn now would be quite a character in his own right. He's like me, but not like me at the same time. You know, he's a very quiet fella and all that sort of thing. But we were sitting here Christmas Eve, my Roberta and myself and Amy, and we had given out the Christmas presents, and we're sitting the next thing. Shawn got down on one knee, and he pulled out a ring, and he presented it to Elaine and asked her to marry him, and she kept saying to him, "You're joking me. You're joking me. You're joking me." And I said, "Is he joking her? You know, this is the type of character he is. You know." No, he said, "I'm not joking. I'm serious. And we're going to get married." And so it was fantastic, and you know, we're looking forward now to the wedding in November of 2024. He'll be getting married, so it's something nice and something positive. You know, it's hard to believe Shawn will be celebrating his 30th birthday when he gets married. And I remember when I put my band on the road, I was 27 at the
Oh,
time.
tell
So
me
the
about
years don't
it.
belong flying by.
And
Yeah.
I look,
Well,
I have
you're
my
only a
own
young fella
milestone
yet
birthday
now,
to look
Mike.
forward to next month. So yeah,
What?
no, I'm
Probably 25
30.
or
So
something.
yeah,
But
yeah.
why? Listen, you're only a
I was just between
child.
us.
You're
And
only a
then you obviously live in Donegal, and as you mentioned earlier on, you were from Laois originally. What was it like to make the move to Donegal up to the northwest?
Well, if you had said to me, Mike, 35, 40 years ago, that I would be living in Donegal, well, first of all, living in Northern Ireland, outside Strabane, and then be living in Donegal, I would have laughed my socks off. I would have said, what would take me up to the north of the country, been from the Midlands? Um, when I put the band on the road, I had been working up here for maybe a year, and I was playing at a dance in a place called Bridgend in County Donegal, and I met my wife now. We were playing up there at a dance, and it was actually a fluke that she was actually there, because my wife and her sister used to go out to all the pop bands. They used to go to the Memories and to Tweed and all those sort of bands, and they were on their way to see the Memories in a place called the Lake of Shadows in Buncrana, and they brought these two elderly ladies from Lifford who wanted to see this new guy, Shawn Cuddy. And they brought the girls, dropped them at the bridge end, and they headed off to the Lake of Shadows. And when they arrived to the Lake of Shadows, the guy on the door said, "Oh, by the way, girls, Jim Barry, the lead singer, is not here tonight. They've cancelled because Jim Barry is sick. But we have a different band on stage." And the girls said, "Oh, well, we're not going to hear another band. We'll go home." So they were heading back the road, and Claire, my sister-in-law, said to my wife now, "So why don't we go in and have a listen to the Cuddy fella in Bridgend, and we can bring the girls home, the women home." So they did. They came in, and I went down, and we you know the way lads in a band, you know, when girls are in a hall, you go down and you chat to everybody, and I had some great characters in the band at the time, and they were very funny lads, and they'd be great lads to chat up women and all that sort of thing. But then we had a lot of younger girls coming out to the shows, and older girls as well. So we went down anyway, and the girls were sitting there, and I just went over to say hello to them, and that was it. They arrived then to another couple of shows, and we got chatting, and then we went out on a date. I mean, we met halfway. This is funny. I drove
Wow.
from Laois to Bundoran to meet Roberta. That was our first date, and I can remember we were sort of trying to. We weren't sort of making it very public at the time. We were sort of not that it was under the covers, right? You know that we weren't doing that, but we said to ourselves, we keep it quiet because you don't know how things are going to go. And I remember we went into a little restaurant in Bundoran, and as we were sitting in the restaurant in Bundoran, my wife, now her next door neighbour, happened to be in Bundoran on holidays and came in to sit down and have a meal. So, and the rest is history. I'm up here now. I'm living in the north of Ireland now.
Wow,
Over
wow,
well,
and
I'm up here now over
I think
30
that
years.
story is a good note to end on. I think that shows just like how
Uh,
us Irish
uh,
people are. You know, you'll always bump into somebody you know.
well, no matter where you go, I mean, it's amazing. You know, even when I go to London and I go to different other places there, it's amazing the amount of people that you meet, just people that you know really, really well. You know, but when I moved up here, up to Northern Ireland, I remember my family were absolutely petrified. You know, because I mean, the troubles were quite bad at the time in the early 90s, and I remember my mother and father were terrified. You know what I mean? And when they came up for our wedding in Sion Mills, they couldn't wait to get out over the border to get back to Donegal, you know. But and I remember my father, God rest him, Dad passed away on Father's Day last year. But we our first house was in a place called Glenside, out to Derry Road, out of Strabane. It was quite a quiet area. But I remember when my father would come in and my mother would come up to visit, Daddy'd be sitting in the living room and he'd say, "Pull those curtains quick, we could be shot." You know, just he was such a comical guy. But thank God, you know, Northern Ireland is a brilliant place now, and you know, it's a lovely place. Well, I'm saying I'm not in Northern Ireland, but we're over and across the border every day. My kids went to school in Strabane. We lived in there for many years, and now we're out on the border here. I'm in a place near Castlefin, just on the main road there, and I can look out my living room window and I'm looking at the Finn River, which separates Tyrone and Donegal. So we kind of sort of
Brilliant.
we've the best of both
For
worlds
anyone
now.
who wants to keep up with all the country music news, RSVP Country is on shelves at the moment. You can head over to rsvplive.ie/country music to get all the latest news, pictures, and interviews all through the week, and the opportunity to sign up to our brand new newsletter, which comes out every Monday, bringing you the news right to your emails. And we must say thank you to your daughter, Amy, as well, Shawn, who put this together for us.
Well, yes, and the poor girl, she was tearing down from Belfast because she was working today, so she came down fairly quickly to get it sorted out. But Mike, listen, thanks to you and all the gang there for all the work that you do on the magazine, promoting Irish country music and Irish music in general. You do a great job, and the feature you did on me in the magazine was absolutely fantastic. And thanks so much, and look
Excellent.
forward to
All right,
working with
Shawn,
you in
have
the
a great
future
week.
again.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, Mike. Good luck now, and bye.